This first story is from stripes.com, all right? And we have a couple guys here that I want to get an opinion on. So this is from the Orlando Sentinel. The Space Force Training Headquarters, STARCOM, gets official approval to come to the Space Coast. The decision has been a year in the making, but the Space Coast, it's funny, they keep calling it the Space Coast. Florida, right? They keep calling it the Space Coast.
Well, it's Cape Canaveral and Melbourne.
And Patrick, right? Space Coast will officially become the home of STARCOM, the training headquarters for Space Force. Patrick Space Force Base and Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, both former, how far apart are those two? They're pretty close, right?
They're right there, yeah.
Yeah, they're on Melbourne. They're on the same coast.
Both former Air Force facilities were named in May 2023 the presumptive home for STARCOM, which stands for Space Training and Readiness Command. It's one of 3 Space Force Field Command units, similar to an Air Force Air Command. Senator Marco Rubio confirmed the decision was made final, posting congratulations on X. Great news for Florida. Patrick Space Force Base has received final approval to become the permanent headquarters for STARCOM, bolstering Florida's growing leadership in space. Rubio posted last Tuesday. STARCOM is responsible for the deliberate development, education, and training of space professionals, in addition to the development of space warfighting doctrine, tactics, techniques, and procedures, and the operational test and evaluation of Space Force systems. That sounds like it came right out of an OER, didn't it? STARCOM for now is run out of Peterson Space Force Base in Colorado, while the Space Force's overall headquarters is based in Washington at the Pentagon, along with other headquarters of the nation's armed forces. The Orlando Sentinel reached out to STARCOM for details about the timeline and personnel planned for the headquarters move to Brevard County, but is yet to hear back. So they're like, hey, we're going to Patrick. When? Hey, we're going to Patrick.
Well, with the names, with all the acronyms, it sounds like they reached out to William Shatner and said,
I know.
Tell us what we should call this new training command. How about STARCOM?
That one is not so far-fetched, right, as some of them, because it's space training and requirements. What is it? Space training. It's not so bad. Space training and readiness. All right.
I'm telling you, everything came right out of frickin' Star Trek. I'm telling you.
So, but did you know that the Delta, though, the space Delta, is actually was conceived from the military? That was never a Star Trek.
No, Star Trek's off-center, right? It's not a.
A lot of people was like, "Oh, that Delta, they took it." No,
because it's skewed
from the military, and then they.
Okay, that's fair enough. But the name and the "Beam Me Up Scotty" emblem that they wear, man, come on.
So what's funny is that's just going to be the headquarters. So,
Eric, don't be so salty. I got a couple security forces stories for you later. All right.
Okay. But it's only going to be like, so far from everybody I've spoken to, and even the SCL that got selected for that, it just sounds like so far it's just going to be the headquarters, because enlisted training is still going to be at Vandenberg, and then you're going to have
sure, but it's going to move, right?
Yeah, officer trainings. I don't know if you guys know, but those Space 200, Space 300, those advanced courses, they all got nixed, and now they're going to have back-to-back training at Peterson for the officers. There's going to be 12 classes every year, so it's going to be all the officer training, but now they're not going to be dedicated to one mission. They're going to be generalist. They're going to get trained for space, cyber, and intel now. So their training going to be over a year.
Well, Jake was mentioning that NSSI is gone, right?
Yeah,
it's no more, right? And so they're folding all that curriculum into STARCOM, Eric, into STARCOM, all right? Stop it, because we're going to make fun. Well, no, we're not going to make fun. And we have no defense, so stop beating us up, all right, would you? Now, STARCOM is going to be Space Force's ATC equivalent, right? I mean, that's essentially what it's going to be. So eventually they're going to go. Jake, you said they're going to do basic, but the first would be their tech school, right? So their tech school's got to be out there when they get spun up.
I honestly don't know. Like, there was rumors that they were going to move basic out there to Patrick, but I don't know.
know.
Vandenberg's not.
You're talking about your first stage of your training for a space guy, right?
The tech school, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Space Force basic training was supposed to, rumored, move to Patrick.
Well,
right now it's at Lackland. Right?
I wonder how many. I wonder what Space Force's new recruit quota is. Right. I mean, you're not talking about the numbers of any other service, so it's going to be low numbers for every basic training class, right?
The Marines have 2 basic training bases.
That's right. Yeah,
That's right. They don't have a shit ton of numbers either.
So it's got to. I would imagine it's got to follow in that same model. So you could move it out there. You know, I mean, they're not running anymore. They're just. I mean, it's like, hey, run over there and get in line for your Apple Watch.
Long walks on the beach. Check.
So, yeah,